I really hate to say this. I think there's someone hanging right there. I'm not even kidding.
In the late spring and early summer of the year 2022, Logan Paul released his cryptocurrency game called Crypto Zoo. The game would consist of pretty much little zoo tokens or zoo animals where you can breed and fuse them together in order to earn money, or Ethereum, which is a cryptocurrency. Now, not much would be said about the project for several months until 16 December of the same year, when Coffeezilla, internet detective, will release a 3-part video series discussing about how the whole game was pretty much a scam. Now, the title of the videos will kind of insinuate that Logan Paul was one of the people who would scam his audience or the victims of Crypto Zoo. However, at the end of the video series, Coffeezilla would say himself that Logan Paul did not scam anybody, that Logan Paul lost all of his money that he invested into Crypto Zoo, and Logan Paul did not gain any money from this situation at all.
Everyone from the founders did sell. For example, Jeff, Logan's manager, to my knowledge, never sold. Neither did Logan Paul, which was a huge surprise. All their wallets that I tracked, held on to their tokens, which is good, and to their credit for a game that doesn't work.
However, he would say that Logan Paul was only guilty of a few things. Logan Paul was guilty of surrounding himself by a bunch of people with ill intent and willing to scam not only Logan, but also the victims of Crypto Zoo. That he was also guilty of abandoning the project and leaving everyone else in the dark, not even saying anything at all to any of the victims of the Crypto Zoo game.
Of it, we have Logan Paul himself, who has abandoned this thing, leaving thousands of fake orphans in his wake.
Now, Logan's initial response to the video series would be very negative. He would be very hostile towards Coffeezilla. He would attack this character, his skills, and he'd bring up his past.
See, Coffeezilla tried to work with law enforcement in the past, but his work was described as not anchored to truth and often speculative. He is a lopsided journalist with an agenda, and he's nothing more than the Keemstar of crypto and finance.
He would even threaten him with a lawsuit. He would even wanted to invite Coffeezilla onto his Impulsive podcast in order to hand him the lawsuit there directly. The backlash to Logan Paul's initial response was so massive that it would have Logan Paul delete the response and create a new response on his second channel, pretty much apologizing to Coffeezilla and thanking Coffeezilla for bringing the whole situation to light and that he's going to try to do better next time. He would also introduce a buyback program for the victims of Crypto Zoo. So anyone who lost money within the game would pretty much be able to earn their money back by just proving that they were a victim of Crypto Zoo. They would not earn all the money they lost, however, it would be able to relieve some of the pain and loss that they endured during the scam. So after that, everything is pretty much done, right? Logan Paul did the right thing, right? Well, not necessarily. It will take a very long time for Logan Paul to pretty much fulfill the whole buyback program. In fact, Coffeezilla will pretty much make a few videos about it and make sure to keep pressure onto Logan Paul. Because of that, Logan Paul will even block Coffeezilla on Twitter pretty much every time Coffeezilla will bring up the whole buyback program. But eventually, it did seem like Logan Paul was able to pretty much fully realize the whole buyback program. And pretty much a year and a half later, after the whole 3-part video series, Logan Paul would end up actually going through with the lawsuit against Coffeezilla. Now, this is pretty much recent news that a lot of people aren't talking about. So whatever is being said right now is pretty much going over just whatever is kind of confirmed so far. Now, Logan Paul is suing Coffeezilla for $75,000 plus interest and lawyer fees for defamation. Now, what kind of defamation is Logan Paul and his team talking about? They're saying that Coffeezilla pretty much withheld evidence and presented it in a certain way, or revealed evidence in order to kind of create this initial thought that Logan Paul is a scammer. They also think that he did this by his thumbnails and the title of his videos, as well as his hook of those videos. Which I guess you could agree that there is some sort of defamation within that, but all that defamation really comes to an end when Coffeezilla at the end of his video series pretty much points out that Logan Paul did not scam anybody. Logan Paul himself was a victim of said scam. There was no evidence that Logan Paul had any intent to scam anybody. But regardless, they're still going through with this lawsuit. They're suing Coffeezilla because of defamation through withholding evidence or revealing it within a certain way, as well as his title and pretty much the hook of the videos and the way he pretty much talks about Logan Paul and how Logan Paul's hand within the situation. Now, my initial thought to this is that if you're gonna do this, if you're gonna sue somebody for the way they present information, as well as the way they have their thumbnails and also title of the videos, then I think every commentary YouTube channel is at threat of being fucking sued, because every commentary YouTube channel does this kind of shit. They do it because they need, one, viewers and clicks. They also pretty much reveal information in a certain way, in a certain pace, in order to retain audience attention. That's pretty much it. And if you're gonna sue Coffeezilla for this, then everyone else is at threat And is that fair game for getting sued as well? Now, that's not the only kind of thing that I want to talk about within this whole lawsuit. That should be kind of said and done. But I feel like this whole situation, or the entire court document of the lawsuit, is really painting Logan Paul in this very victim like kind of setting. It's really kind of like Logan Paul is trying to paint himself as his biggest victim in this entire situation. It kind of talks about how Logan Paul was initially angry at first, but he was willing to let bygones be bygones and kind of wanted to kind of let things kind of settle down, and so he can kind of fix the entire situation. It paints Logan Paul in this light that Logan Paul was always going to pretty much initiate the buyback program for all the victims of CryptoZoo. However, this is really not the case at all. Logan Paul did not let bygones be bygones. In fact, Logan Paul started attacking Coffeezilla with so much hostility after the video series. He even threatened Coffeezilla with a lawsuit. That is not letting bygones be bygones.
If not, we're going to handle this ourselves while we continue to build CryptoZoo, and I'll see you in court.
Not to mention, Logan Paul had no intention of initiating the buyback program at all. Logan Paul just was leaving this in the dark. This is one of the few things that Logan Paul is guilty of. Leaving everybody in the dark and abandoning the project. Logan Paul was not going to pretty much give anyone their money back. He was hoping this would just be swept under the rug and never be brought up again. However, because of Coffeezilla's 3-part video series, Logan Paul's hand was forced. He had to create a buyback program in order to allow the victims of CryptoZoo to earn some of their money back at least. In fact, if you go down in the video in the comments that talks about, if you go down in Logan Paul's apology to his Coffeezilla, which also talks about the buyback program, you would see a lot of the comments are pretty much on Coffeezilla's side, saying that none of this would have ever happened. The suit would also seem to kind of like state that Logan Paul throughout his entire career learned a lot of accountability and patience, and that he wants to have Coffeezilla hold himself accountable and teach Coffeezilla something about accountability. Now, when I first heard this, when I first read that, I thought, holy shit, this is fucking bullshit. Why? Because Logan Paul has no fucking accountability. If he had any accountability, he would have on the spot, the moment the project was already going down the hill, was failing, he would on the spot try to take control of it, get rid of fucking Jake and Eddie, hire some new people to get the crypto game back on its feet, or even fucking tell the victims of CryptoZoo, hey, this project is going to fail, I'm sorry about this, give him some sort of information. But instead, he decided to leave everyone in the dark and abandon the own mess that he was a part of and helped create it. Now, one of the reasons why they're also going through with this lawsuit as well is because they believe, or they stated, that Coffeezilla was pretty much milking the entire situation. So what they mean by this is that when Logan Paul announced the buyback program, Coffeezilla would pretty much keep an eye on Logan Paul and pretty much make sure that the buyback program was working. He would stay in contact with the CryptoZoo victims. He would make a few videos about the said buyback program. In fact, they would, within the document, they pretty much stated that Coffeezilla made numerous amounts of videos, pretty much kind of painting Logan Paul in a more negative light about the whole buyback program. However, if you go to his channel after the whole CryptoZoo debacle, Coffeezilla made 4 videos with Logan Paul in it. One of them was with Joe Rogan, when Coffeezilla was on Joe Rogan's podcast, and he was talking about the whole CryptoZoo situation. Another one was pretty much just Coffeezilla talking about the Dylan Dennis fight and the Logan Paul fight. Only 2 of the videos would pretty much be about the buyback program. One of them being a review of the buyback program plan, which was also part of the Logan Paul's apology, which Coffeezilla reacted to. Another one was actually about the buyback program, stating how it was not really working. So there was really only 2 videos within Coffeezilla's channel that kind of discuss about the buyback program. They were like short. I think they were like less than fucking 15 minutes long. So to state this is like that Coffeezilla is milking, continually putting pressure onto Logan Paul, was very fucking, I don't know, it's just very ill intent. It seems very petty. It will also bring up tweets of Coffeezilla stating that Coffeezilla was continually tweeting at Logan Paul or about Logan Paul by how in a very bad light. Now, this would then lead to Coffeezilla being blocked by Logan Paul. Now, hearing this, it just seems very fucking petty on Logan Paul's part. He doesn't like a few tweets that someone said. Boo-hoo. He doesn't like the fact that someone is trying to hold him accountable to make sure that the victims of his fucking game are getting at least some of their money back. Womp womp. Now, it would also bring up that the reason why Coffeezilla is doing this is for click, viewers, and as well as revenue. Now, I do remember that there was a point in one of Logan Paul's podcasts, his Impulsive show or whatever, that he would pretty much criticize Coffeezilla for having a Patreon, stating that, oh, he only cares about money or whatever, right? Now, I don't know why that's such a big problem. I don't know why it's always such a big problem to want to get more viewers and clicks and revenue. Now, I think it's an issue if you're doing it through matters of clickbait and spreading false information, right? Overall, if the way you want to present your information, as long as it's factual, I don't think there's nothing really wrong with clickbait. I don't think there's anything really wrong with wanting to prioritize or even like kind of have revenue in mind when you're releasing a video, because this is YouTube. Anyone who goes into YouTube and who's getting more than 1,000 views per video, or even more than 10,000 views per video, you're gonna be thinking about revenue, because you're gonna be able to make money off those amount of views. Now, I don't blame Coffeezilla for anything like that. I don't blame him for having revenue in mind when he's making more videos about Logan Paul, because one, it's his channel, it's his livelihood. This is how he makes fucking money. Of course he's gonna want to care how many views he's gonna get, if his views, and also if his videos are being able to, if he's able to pretty much get sponsors for his videos as well. Now, the lawsuit would pretty much say that Coffeezilla was spreading false information about Logan Paul and pretty much just stating that he was defaming Logan Paul with said false information. Now, reading through it, I don't really see any false information. Pretty much the only thing I can say or I see that they were talking about when it comes to false information is the fact that Coffeezilla, the way that Coffeezilla presented information and revealed information. That's it. That's pretty much it. I don't think it's false. It's pretty much just not showing the whole picture. Now, the reason why Coffeezilla does this is because it's pacing. You want to pace your videos to make them entertaining and be able to retain viewers' attention. This is how documentaries do it. This is how movies work, right? You don't reveal all the information right off the bat, because if you do, then I'm just going to click off the video because I already know everything. Like I said before, if you want to sue Coffeezilla for something like this, then you're pretty much going to have to, that pretty much is fair game for all the entirety commentary YouTube community to just get sued right off the bat. Now, in my humble opinion, I don't think Coffeezilla's actions are really what defamed Logan Paul at all. So what I think what really defamed Logan Paul, so the way he responded to Coffeezilla initially. I believe that if Logan Paul had responded to Coffeezilla in a more positive light, with more positive attitude, none of this would pretty much be going down. Because literally, the moment Logan Paul released that video attacking Coffeezilla, everyone went against him. Everybody was pretty much just making videos about Logan Paul, creating tweets about Logan Paul in a very negative light. Regardless, they were already kind of doing that when the 3-part video series came out. But the moment Logan Paul created that response video, like, it's just pretty much everyone just started calling Logan Paul a piece of shit. That's it. If he did not do that, if he just accepted the fact that it was pretty much a failed project, he should have pretty much helped people out who he left in the dark, then I think there would be a lot less people going against Logan Paul. I think that's what really defamed Logan Paul the most. His own actions, not even Coffeezilla's actions. As of right now, neither Coffeezilla nor Logan Paul has created any statement, tweets, or anything. This still seems to be breaking news. There seems not to be a lot of information left. I will be linking down pretty much the lawsuit underneath in the description for anyone who else wants to read. But I will pretty much stay on the top of the situation. I'll pretty much be looking through it to see if anyone else made an actual official response about it. However, I don't think Logan Paul should be able to win this case. I feel like it's kind of like the whole fair use situation all over again. I don't think Coffeezilla did anything wrong. Coffeezilla did not defame Logan Paul in any way. What really worries me though is the fact that Logan Paul is suing for $75,000. The reason why that worries me is because Logan Paul doesn't need $75,000. What I think the reason why he's going through this lawsuit is just to bleed Coffeezilla dry, which really kind of more shows the pettiness of Logan Paul and his fucked up mind, of his egotistical mind, that he does not want any bad things said about him. Like, I really do think he's going to try to Coffeezilla dry. Fortunately, Logan Paul is the biggest creator in the situation, far more bigger than Coffeezilla, and I believe he has a fucking shit ton of money to throw at lawyers in order to make sure Coffeezilla bleeds from this entire situation. If this lawsuit does keep going forward, I hope that Coffeezilla wins. I hope that people are willing to help him and support him, because after all, we cannot, within the YouTube ecosystem, I think we cannot just let bigger creators bully smaller creators. It's just unfair, and it's bad for the system. It's bad for the ecosystem, at least. But regardless, like I said, if there's more information, I will be reporting it to you guys on this channel. And yeah, that's pretty much about it. See ya.
I've made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment, and I don't expect to be forgiven. I'm simply here to apologize.